They risked their lives. They defied empires. They broke traditions. They saved entire nations. And they changed the course of history. Today, we're going to meet 4 courageous women from the Bible who proved that God does not choose people by gender, but by the heart. Esther, the queen who saved her people from genocide. Ruth, the foreigner who entered the lineage of Jesus. Deborah, the only female judge of Israel. Mary Magdalene, the first witness of the resurrection. Get ready, because these stories will inspire you to be more courageous in your own life. Let's begin. Esther, if I perish, I perish. Year 479 BC, Persian Empire. The most powerful king in the world, Ahasuerus, ruled over 127 provinces. A young Jewish woman named Esther becomes queen, but she hides her Jewish identity under the guidance of her cousin Mordecai. Everything seemed perfect until a man named Haman appears. Haman was second in command of the empire, and he hated the Jews. Why? Because Mordecai refused to bow before him. So Haman convinces the king to sign a decree. All the Jews in the empire would be killed in a single day. Men, women, children, a planned genocide. Mordecai goes to Esther and says, "You must go to the king and plead for the life of our people." But there was a huge problem. No one could approach the king without being summoned. The punishment? Immediate death. Unless the king extended his scepter. If he didn't, the guards would kill you on the spot. Esther replies, "It's been 3 days since the king has called for me. If I go to him without being summoned, I may die." Then Mordecai says something that echoed through eternity. "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Esther had 2 options. 1, stay silent and maybe survive, but watch her people be destroyed. 2, risk everything to save millions. Then Esther makes the most courageous decision in the Bible. "Go, gather all the Jews who are in Susa, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. After that, I will go to the king, even if it's against the law. And if I perish, I perish. If I perish, I perish." These 6 words in Hebrew changed everything. Esther enters the king's court. Her heart races. She could die in the next few seconds. The king looks and extends the scepter. She was alive. In the following days, Esther reveals Haman's plot. The king becomes furious. Haman is executed. The Jews are saved. And to this day, the Jewish people celebrate Purim, the feast that commemorates this deliverance. One courageous woman saved an entire nation from destruction. Ruth, where you go, I will go. Time of the Judges. Israel is in crisis, famine in the land. A family from Bethlehem goes to Moab to find food. Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons. The sons marry Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. But tragedy strikes. Elimelech dies. Then both sons die. 3 widows, no husbands, no children, no support. In ancient culture, this meant misery and abandonment. Naomi decides to return to Bethlehem and tells her daughters-in-law, "Go back to your mother's homes. You were young. You can start over." Orpah, in tears, kisses Naomi and returns. But Ruth does something different. Ruth clings to Naomi and makes one of the most beautiful declarations in the Bible. "Do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. Ruth is saying, I choose you. I choose your God. I choose your land, no matter the cost. She was a Moabite, a people despised by Israel. She had no obligation to Naomi, but she chose faithfulness over security. Ruth and Naomi arrived in Bethlehem during harvest season. Ruth goes to glean in fields, the humblest work possible just to survive. And by chance, which is no chance at all, she ends up in the field of Boaz, a wealthy and godly man, a relative of Elimelech. Boaz sees Ruth's courage and loyalty. He protects her, blesses her, and eventually marries her. And here's the powerful detail. Ruth and Boaz have a son named Obed. Obed has a son named Jesse. Jesse has a son named David. Ruth, the foreign Moabite, is in the lineage of King David and in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Matthew 1 verse 5 lists Ruth as one of the few women mentioned in Jesus' genealogy. A refugee, a widow, a foreigner. God placed her in the lineage of the Messiah. Deborah, a woman will win the battle. Time of the Judges. Israel is under oppression from King Jabin of Canaan for 20 years. The enemy general is Sisera. He had 900 iron chariots, overwhelming military technology. It was like facing tanks with swords. Israel was terrified. And who does God raise to deliver the people? Deborah. Judges 4:4 says, Now Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at that time. Deborah was a prophet, she heard from God, a judge, she led the nation, a wife, she maintained her family. She held court under the palm of Deborah, and the people came to her to settle disputes. But that wasn't all. God had a war plan. Deborah calls Barak, Israel's military commander, and says, The Lord commands, Go take 10,000 men to Mount Tabor. I will deliver Sisera into your hands. And Barak responds with something remarkable. If you go with me, I will go. But if you don't go with me, I won't go. The army commander is saying, I'll only go if you go. Deborah agrees, but prophesies, Certainly I will go with you, but because of the course you are taking, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. 2 women would win this war. The battle happens. God throws Sisera's army into confusion. The 900 iron chariots get stuck in the mud. The enemy is defeated. Sisera flees on foot and seeks refuge in the tent of Jael, another woman. Jael welcomes him, gives him milk, covers him with a blanket. Sisera falls asleep, exhausted. Then Jael does something unexpected. She takes a tent peg and a hammer and drives the peg through Sisera's temple. He dies instantly. 2 women won the war, exactly as Deborah had prophesied. Judges 5 records the Song of Deborah, one of the oldest texts in the Bible, celebrating this victory. Deborah not only led Israel as a judge, but also as a military leader and prophet. Mary Magdalene, go and tell my brothers. Mary Magdalene is one of the most misunderstood figures in the Bible. Tradition confused her with the adulterous woman in John 8, or with Mary of Bethany, but the Bible is clear. Luke 8 verse 2 says, Mary called Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had come out. Jesus delivered her from demonic oppression, and she became one of his most faithful followers. Mary Magdalene supported Jesus' ministry with her own resources, Luke 8 verse 3, stood at the foot of the cross when the disciples fled, John 19 verse 25, went to the tomb early Sunday morning while it was still dark, John 20 verse 1. She never abandoned Jesus, not even in death. John 20 tells the story. Mary arrives at the tomb. It is empty. She runs and tells Peter and John. The disciples go, see, and return home. But Mary stays. She weeps outside the tomb. She bends over and sees two angels. "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they have put him." She turns and sees a man. She thinks he is the gardener. "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." And then Jesus says a single word: Mary. She recognizes him instantly. "Rabboni," teacher. And Jesus gives her the most important mission in history. "Go to my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene was the first witness of the resurrection. She was the first person to see Jesus alive. She was the first to receive the mission to proclaim the gospel. She was called by early Christians the apostle to the apostles. In a culture where a woman's testimony had no legal value, Jesus chose a woman to announce the most important news of all time. He is alive. 4 women, 4 different times, 4 types of courage. Esther, courage to risk her life for her people. Ruth, courage to remain faithful when everything was lost. Deborah, courage to lead when no one expected it. Mary Magdalene, courage to remain when everyone else fled. What do they have in common? They were underestimated, but God chose them. They faced the impossible, but God made a way. They changed history because they said yes to God. And the message for you today is, man or woman, God does not choose the qualified. He qualifies the chosen. It doesn't matter your gender, your background, or your past. If you have a willing heart, God can use you in extraordinary ways. Maybe you are facing a difficult decision like Esther, a devastating loss like Ruth, a challenge that seems impossible like Deborah, or a moment of abandonment like Mary Magdalene. Remember, the same God who was with them is with you. Be courageous, be faithful. God is writing your story. If this video inspired you, comment, "I am courageous." Share this with someone who needs courage today. Subscribe to the Holy Bible audio channel and turn on notifications for more inspiring biblical stories. May God give you the courage you need. See you in the next video.